experience.
If you're around the kid enough, it changes who you are. And if you're not around the kid, it changes who you are, because then you realize you're not around the kid, and that's going to take a piece out of who you think you are.
But you know what? If you and we have friends who aren't great dads or whatever, and you can see it in their kids. I'm not saying I'm a psychologist or I'm some expert in parenting, but if I go to a person's house and I see the way the kids treat the parents, I go, "You're not around enough, man." I promise you, I can tell.
Yeah.
My son doesn't act like that.
Yeah.
Because one thing you can call me whatever you want. One thing I am is a beast of a dad. I know that. I don't know if I'm a good comic. I don't know if I was a good fighter. I don't know if I'm a good podcaster. That's all up for debate. One thing I know is I'm a fucking good dad, man.
Good for you, man. It's a very, 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 very important quality. And that quality, when your kid becomes an adult, that's going to be just a major factor in how you get along.
Yep.
Like even parents, I know friends that had bad relationships with their parents when they lived with them. And then once they got out, their parents were nice to them. But their parents were shitty to them when they were kids. And they always hold it against them.
Always.
They always have that shit in the back of their head. Like, why were you a dick when I was 12? You know, that shit is always in their head.
It's like that Avatar horse. When you're young, you mix together. And if you don't mix together when you're young, and I was talking to someone, a therapist, they were saying, I think it's from like till they're 3. If you don't make that connection, when you're like, when they're 4, like, I'll do it now, it's almost too late, because they already developed these brain pathways. We're like, nope, my dad's an ass. Yeah. And there's really nothing you can do to fix it.
Yeah. Man, I went to the movies yesterday with my kid.
A movie?
We went to see the Romeo and Juliet movie.
Oh, dope.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is it? Sherlock Gnomes?
Yeah, the Sherlock Gnomes.
Yeah, cute little movie.
Yeah.
But, we went to that Cineopolis place where, you lean back, those things?
Yeah.
The seats lean back.
Good food.
And you take the seat rest down, and my 7-year-old just snuggles with me.
The best.
We're snuggling, watching the movie. I'm like, I couldn't be happier.
Yep.
I don't want to see this stupid fucking movie.
No, but I don't care.
She wants to.
Yep.
So I couldn't be happier. I sat there and watched this silly gnome
bullshit movie. Yeah.
She's just a little snuggle bunny.
I've watched Boss Baby 9 times.
Boss Baby's not a bad movie.
In like a week, though.
That's a pretty funny movie, though.
Boss Baby's great. Alec Baldwin's the voice. I watched like 9
funny.
times. But my son, whenever we watch, he snuggles up with me. Usually, this is why I want a daughter. This is why I'm jealous you have daughters. Because daughters love their dads. My son, I'm like, you little traitor. Little bitch. Mommy. Like, dude, it's me. Every morning you cry for your mom?
Girls are like that, too, in a lot of ways. It's
Sometimes.
you got to accept the fact that the mom is not just the soft, sweet woman in the house, but she's also the person who made them in her body.
Yeah, and there's chemical connection
out of her body, man. There's no I had a deal with my wife. Like, I'm not naming any kids. I go, I got veto power. I go, but you do way more work. Like, it's way harder to make the person. I go, as long as you try to call the kid applesauce or something fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it's not an even proposition. All I did is fuck her.
Yeah, which you were going to do anyways.
Exactly.
Which I was going to do anyways,
You
but
just got
now
a
we got to deal with
bonus.
this seed, you know?
Yeah, you got a bonus.
They get a bonus. Overtime for you.
It is kind of crazy, though, that sex is how you make people.
I know.
And everybody just wants to fuck all the time, and you want to fuck a bunch of people.
But
want
but a lot of
with
people
those
don't want kids. No, hell no.
You know who opened my eyes, like, in a big way, in a podcast recently, that's really been making me think a lot about this, is Brett Weinstein. He's the professor that got in that. Do you know you know who he is?
Yes.
Controversy with Evergreen
The
University.
pronouns and all that, and they were taking the day.
No, that's
different one?
It wasn't a pronoun thing. It was the day of absence.
Yes.
They wanted all the white people to stay home. He's like, that's racist.
Ridiculous.
And, yeah. Anyway, he was on. He said there's 2 different things that men are attracted to. They're attracted to a woman that they think would be a great companion and a great mother, and like someone who, he said there's a difference between hot and beautiful.
Correct.
Like, some women are beautiful and like they're loving. You want to be around them. He goes, but then there's other women who are just hot. And in males, that very receptive woman who doesn't require any commitment was an opportunity for men to spread their seed with someone who they didn't have to be around for.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's literally like a programming in a man's mind. So you see a girl with big giant tits and a little waist and a fat ass hanging out of her shorts, and she's got sloppy makeup on, and she looks at you and you're like, okay, let's do this.
Yes.
But that's what that is. It's not like,
You don't want
hey,
to live with her.
Right. You're not saying, I would like to start a relationship with you. It's like, no, I want to shoot my load into you, and then you raise my kid when I'm nowhere near you.
Yeah.
Because it's an opportunity for my DNA to propagate. And I was like, wow.
That makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense. I literally never considered it until he brought it up on the podcast. I went, oh, duh.
Me neither. I just thought she's hot, whatever.
Yeah, she's just hot.
Yeah.
Dirty in a dirty way.
Yeah.
You're like, why is she so
I'm
hot?
attracted to that.
Yeah, why is she so dirty?
Dude,
I don't know.
I told my girl Joe, probably 4 weeks into it, 5 weeks, we were getting serious, and she got this job offer to go to Miami, and she was talking about career and stuff like that. And I went, no, that's all cool. That's all, and no one's career first more than me. However, you're put on this earth to be a mom, right? Like, you're going to be such a beast of a mom. I guarantee you, because I saw her interact with Callan's kids.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you, you might be the greatest host in the world, but you're going to be the best mom I've ever seen. And then she's like, really? I'm like, I guarantee you. Fucking
bam.
Yeah.
Well,
There's just those qualities that you can
Right.
see. It's something.
And when someone's a bad mom, it's such a depressing thing.
Oh man, nothing worse.
It's so depressing to be around. A woman who's like really short with her kids and shitty with them, and like, oh.
Or even as a kid, if I had friends who like talk back to their parents or mean to their parents, like,
Yeah.
oh God, what's wrong with you? Or if I was dating a girl, she'd like badmouth her mom, like, what's wrong with you, girl?
You know, and the hard thing is that pattern's hard to break. It's hard to break. Those kids may very well have that same kind of behavior towards their kids. Like when they become adults, it's a hard pattern to break. Sometimes you need the right person in your life, like a good person in your life that a wife or husband or whoever it is, when you match up with that person, like it changes who you are too. That's what I always say, that one of the most important things about community, like your community of friends, is that when you have good friends, those people change you. Like you react like everyone is your tribe. You react like everyone's your friends. So you want good for them. You love them. You care about them. They change who you are. They change, if they inspire you, or whether they inspire you with being smart or with their kindness or with their ambition, whatever it is. That we're not individuals. We're a piece of a community, always. And that community, even if it's a small community that you call family, that piece is dependent upon who you do that piece with. Like you might be an amazing dad with the right woman, but with the wrong woman, you might be so frustrated with the relationship that you're not as good a dad as you are right now. There might be chaos going on all the time. There might be situations you put the kid in where you're yelling and screaming at each other that the kid shouldn't see. All these different factors that are dependent upon your relationship with this other person. And they change you and you change them. Like you might be the wrong person for them. They might be super cool and calm with someone else, but with you, it's
just not a mix.
It doesn't.
You hit buttons for whatever reason.
It's like a woman saying to you, you don't want an equal. Like, well, I don't want this.
Yeah,
I don't want this.
I know I don't
argument.
want this. You might be right, but I know for sure I don't want this.
Oh, you're threatened. You're threatened by a strong woman. No.
I'm threatened by you.
You're aggressive for no reason. Who the fuck has ever said that? You're threatened by a strong man. You're threatened by a strong man? Like, what?
It's like, what?
Shut up,
Change
pussy.
the tables. I know.
What are you calling yourself a strong man? Get the fuck out of here. Any guy who calls himself a strong man like
Isn't
that,
strong.
most likely is a bitch.
Yeah.
Most likely
It's
he's
his
just trying to prop
insecurities.
himself
I agree.
up. And I feel the same way about women who say that shit.
Agree.
Women who are like, you're scared of a strong woman. Like, okay, am I really? Or are you a cunt?
Yep.
Are you a cunt?
Just a raging cunt.
Is this cunt talk? This sounds like
this cunt talk.
Sounds
this your
all-
cunt talk
this
ran
sounds
again?
Super uncomfortable. I don't know what got us to this position, but whatever I did, please, I'll apologize.
But I also feel like in this community of friends that we're talking about, if you were a shit father, it would show elsewhere in your life, around us, or if we're at the comedy store, or we're at a restaurant, or in your social media. It's going to come out one way or another,
Well,
and
that
it'd be tough to be in that group.
You know that expression, how you do one thing is how you do everything?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's something to that. I mean, obviously, there's people that are really good at one thing and suck at other things, so it's not always 100% correct. But, if you're a shitty dad, you're going to be a shitty friend.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And if you're a shitty friend, you're probably going to be a shitty dad.
And I say this, too, with dudes who are shitty dads. It's like, all right, if you're willing to do that to you're connected to this person chemically. They're made of your DNA. If you're willing to treat him like that, when the going gets rough for me, where the fuck are you gonna be?
Right.
There's no way I want you in my foxhole.
Yeah, that's big, man. And then people that don't understand that, they don't understand what they're doing wrong. Like, oof, That's rough too.
It's a bummer.
The people that can't see it, and you try to explain it to them, and they can't see it.
The one thing people won't put up with, though, is, and I would never do this, but if you give someone parenting advice, it just doesn't. There's certain things you can't talk about usually: politics, religion, and parenting.
The only way I think parenting advice works ever is if you talk about one great thing that you found that you do with your kid without criticizing that other person.
Yes.
You could give them advice, but not give them advice. But like you could relay your personal positive experiences, and either they take it or they don't. But as soon as you start saying, "Hey, man, I see how you talk to your son," and you're like, "What? What the fuck did you say?"
I know. People get
man,
super offensive.
your son is, he's an individual, man. You treat him like he's an object. Like, fuck, I don't fucking treat my son like. All of a
It's
sudden,
on. Game over. He's not even listening to what you said.
No, you're all ramped
Dude,
up.
I had my son was 1.5 at the time, and I was taking him to this play area, and he didn't know how to express himself, and everyone was older, and he'd hit kids, and he's a big kid. He's a 99 percentile for size and all that stuff, and he would hit kids, and the place where I was taking him in Brentwood knew I was a former fighter. One of the guys who works front desk is a fan. I've talked MMA with him, and they took me to the side and said, we got a bit of a problem because Tiger is hitting kids, and we think it's in direct correlation of you letting him watch fights and from what you did. I just started laughing. You guys are silly as fuck. I'm never bringing him back. B, he's 1.5. Everyone else in there's 3. I mean, yeah, he cold cocked that kid with a left hook, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him. That kid took his toy. However, it's just this is what kids do. They hit, man. It's nothing, and I tell him no. I stay on top of my helicopter, the parent the fuck at him when he's in there. But he's 1.5.
Right.
The rest of the kids are older, and trust me, he's not watching UFC. It's not has nothing to do with.
They think like
took me to the side. And
another...
this lady was like that U of FC or whatever you were getting into.
God.
I was like, oh my god, this is some Brentwood shit, lady.
There's a lot of
There's
that
some Brentwood shit right now. All right, you gotta let them eat dirt. If they hit each other, they hit each other.
We're concerned that you're constantly reaffirming his gender without him choosing.
Oh, dude,
we're concerned.
I love you. Leah.